Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast Gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast Gems.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, a literary podcast where we deep dive into the writings of your favorite novels. This is Jack.
And I'm Amy.
And our listeners love to share their thoughts and theories via social media and the forum on our website. So we are sharing them via our weekly mini episodes.
This week, we're discussing Chaol, Defend or Bash.
The views expressed by the hosts are entirely their own and in no way represent the thoughts or intentions of the original author. This podcast is a discussion shared to spark thought and conversation on the characters and themes of this novel. The interpretations presented in this podcast are just a few of many possibilities. Listeners are encouraged to read along and share their own analysis of the text.
Though the hosts speak mostly within the constraints of this book, series spoilers may be discussed with or without warning. Explicit language as well as themes of sex, violence, abuse, depression, self-harm, and death will recur throughout this podcast. Listener discretion is advised. If you're enjoying the podcast, check out our Patreon for more exclusive content. You can find us at patreon.com/booktalkforbooktalk. All right.
Dun, 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 dun,
dun, dun, dun,
dun,
dun, dun, dun.
We are here to discuss the one, the only, the legendary, the human,
Chaol Westfall.
I don't know what that noise was, but
Pew, pew, pew.
pew, 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 pew. Imagine if we were more annoying than we already were.
Oh my gosh. I don't think anyone would listen.
No, not even. I was about like, my mom will. No, she doesn't even listen now. She thinks I curse too much. Yeah, we are here to discuss Chaol. We didn't plan on doing this one character at a time. But it's made our life easy, so.
I actually think we should have this one air before the Rowan one. So
we haven't even discussed.
Well, I'm discussing now.
No, I mean, like, we don't even know what this conversation is going to hold.
No, it's true. It's true. I know. I'm just thinking in the grand scheme of things.
But won't people want to listen to Rowan more? I think it's messier.
Okay.
So on that note, we put a prompt out and we were just like, hey, bash Chaol, defend Chaol. We have it all in one giant thing, so I don't know what's what. So there's a lot of interpretation happening, but we have some DMs. Let's go to the DMs first.
Okay. I'm already looking at some of the responses and I'm already laughing in my head.
That's hilarious. Okay, go ahead and read Laura. I haven't opened it yet.
All right. He behaves exactly as expected for an early 20s human man. It's unfair to compare him to ancient Fae men, which are what most of the males in this series are. SJM using him as a device to give the human perspective of rightfully being uncertain about magic being returned really did him dirty. It was important that she addressed power imbalance, but it's unfortunate Chaol was her tool to do so. Lastly, you can't have incredibly moving character arc without bringing them to a low point to be redeemed from. His healing journey in Tower of Dawn is incredibly moving. He doesn't deserve the sheer volume of hatred he gets from fans. I agree. I loved Tower of Dawn, and I didn't do the tandem read. I loved that story for him and Irene. I thought it was very well done. I do feel like he learns a lot. Like, he's not great the whole series, but you know what? He's literally human.
Mm-hmm.
He's entitled to make mistakes as a 22-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, for a series where every single person makes horrible mistakes, for a series where whenever I don't know what the order this is going to come out in, but Rowan punches Aelin, and we talked a lot about it.
Mm-hmm.
In a series where people went so hard for Rowan after he punches Aelin out of his own anger,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember, what is it that Chaol does in Queen of Shadow? Because people are like, Queen of Shadows when I stopped liking Chaol.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I mean, maybe we'll be mad at him then, but like everyone here messes up and, baby boy is just trying to survive. Like they said, literally the only human. So let him be human. Also, how complicated and hard is it to be surrounded by people who are all more powerful than you inherently?
Mm-hmm.
Even your best friend who's supposed to be human has magic.
Right. And who you've lived your whole life to train to protect.
Yeah.
And you've worked so hard to be stronger than everybody around you. And now you're the weakest person in the group. And then, what happens in Empire Storms. And now he's disabled. And he falls hard, in terms of rock bottom.
I could not think of another character in ACOTAR other than Nesta who hits a rock bottom.
Yeah, the way that Chaol does.
Chaol does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you could have gotten any other character to hit a rock bottom. Now people might be like, Rowan was at rock bottom when he meets Aelin. Save that. We'll come back to that, sweet baby angel. But yeah. I just came up with someone else's argument. I'm like, I don't have an answer to that yet, but let my brain think a little bit and I will. Okay, this one is from Libby. Sorry, I had to send this here as Chaol's Insta story page would only let me write 5 words, and they proceed to send 4 paragraphs. Team Defend. He became one of my favorite characters. In the beginning, he's very much a conceited, immature man-child who thinks that because he would do anything for Dorian, that gives him an excuse to be apathetic to a lot of other issues until they directly affect him. And I certainly won't defend his actions in the earlier book, but the journey his character goes on is incredible, and I'll never understand why people skip Tower of Dawn. In my opinion, it's why he's one of the best characters. His arc is so full with highs and lows. I also missed writing on the Rowan one. And I'm also team Defend because the man is perfect. No. And I know people will say, oh, he punched her in the face. He'd do that to every other member of the cadre. No, we already talked about this, Libby. You had your chance.
She just said she missed it.
I can't help that. Is this the first time someone, not condoning violence, had he done it more, there'd be a problem, but Defend, as he never tried to make her feel smaller. No, okay. You getting your chance, Libby. I'm quiet as if I'm letting her speak. Circle back to that other episode. You're allowed to defend who you want, but today it's about Chaol.
Today it is about Chaol, and she's a big defender of Chaol, and I agree. People are really missing out if they skip Tower of Dawn. There's also so much lore in Tower of Dawn that you're really missing out if you're skipping it.
Yeah.
It brings so many threads together that I think are necessary. So I don't care how you feel about Chaol. At least read for Irene.
Yeah.
She's deserving.
Yeah. Also, talk about how inspirational Chaol is. And I don't mean in the inspirational sense of wow, I want to be him, but more in the sense that as a writer, SJM decided to write a whole ass book about him.
Mm-hmm.
Selena doesn't even have a whole ass book just about her.
Yep.
Or Aelin, whatever you want to call her. But there was something about his character and his development that required its own book in order to capture. And because of that alone, I would argue that is the most well-developed character out of any SJM books, any SJM characters.
You're so smart.
Oh my God, thank you.
No, but it's such a good point. Dorian doesn't get a whole book. Manon doesn't get a whole book. Aelin doesn't get a whole book. Rowan doesn't get a whole book. Granted, it's Chaol and Irene, and I forget Chaol's companion's name who goes with him. However, it's about Chaol redeeming him and setting up for Kingdom of Ash.
Yep.
So someone might argue, well, it's 50% setting up for Kingdom of Ash and the rest of the series, but it didn't have to be just that group of people that it focuses on. It could have been more.
Yeah. To get that kind of setup, you need to have the right characters. And Chaol and his cadre were the right characters to do that.
Yep.
And I feel like it's proof that SJM really loves him. And you have so many books dedicated to him at this, like, you know, where he's involved in it and he's part of the story. And, you know, I think from a writing perspective, we should just give credit there too.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Thank you.
Eva says, and this is a controversial opinion, and I love it.
Oh.
He is a victim of domestic abuse. His girlfriend tried to kill him, and no one talks about it.
You know what? Who is this?
Eva.
Yeah, Eva. Let's
You're
do
right.
it. Hell yeah.
She literally turns around to kill him.
And he probably still would have been with her.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, he didn't want to break up after that.
Yeah. No, he didn't.
He was like, we can make it work. It's okay, baby. These scars make me look good.
I still love you, I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great point. I mean, she does hurt him. And he feels like he deserves it. Mental and physical abuse right there.
Just because I'm feeling spicy, I'm feeling rowdy tonight. Let's throw more into this like reverse perspective, right? Into this. How about the fact that Aelin, we talked about consent and not being able to have the full, like, you can't consent to who the partner you're with unless you know the full truth. How could he have consented being in a relationship with Aelin when a lifetime with her would have meant running from every single kingdom and having been a king or confidant at that point? He can't consent to that. And she took away that consent, especially when they talked about running off together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, in that situation, Aelin is no better than Hawke in Blood and Ash.
Yep.
And all the other, there's so many other books.
All
that we've
the
read.
other men we talk about and we gave shit to.
Yeah, even Bjorn in A Fate Inked in Blood, like withholding information about your motives or your identity is withholding consent.
The second that they would have been together, they would have been on the run, not just because of Selena, but mostly because of Aelin. And had she ever been forced to take up her throne again, then that's also, you're being forced to be with someone who you're now like the king, right? Like you're part of this. He might have wanted to go be a farmer.
Yeah.
No. Let's talk about the tragic Chaol story.
Stir some shit up.
Yeah. Okay, so this one is from Maggie. Why do I keep getting the long runs? Okay, so in defense of Chaol Westfall, listen, the man pissed me off in the books. I spent half of Queen of Shadow just so mad at him, and then I remembered how old he was and remembered what I was like in my early 20s and what my guy friends were like in their early 20s. And we were also dumb. Capitalization, exclamation points. Getting through the first half of Tower of Dawn was a struggle, but he also hated himself, and that's so real. I feel like SJM wrote him to be this angry, ill-communicating dude that was so hell-bent on self-deconstruction because he lost his honor, his sense of self, and his best friends when he sent Aelin off and lost Dorian to the king, that we all started to hate him because he hated himself. I genuinely do believe that he is more of a mirror for Aelin than Rowan, Dorian, or Aedion because he felt that he had to sacrifice and protect all those he cared about, even if it meant he went unhappy. And he failed that mission at the end of Heir of Fire. And he lost the ability to do that by the end of Queen of Shadow. And I love how he had to learn to accept the darkness within and love himself before he could be physically healed and also live Irene.
Love Irene, probably.
Thank you. I'm like, what? Okay, love Irene. So he has his flaws, but they're the same as Selena, and we give her a lot more grace.
Selena is so deeply flawed,
Mm-hmm.
and she's mostly everybody's favorite
I know.
out of all of SJM's heroines.
Yeah.
And I think it's only because Aelin confronts the darkness in her in Heir of Fire rather than book number 6.
There's a lot from what I remember, and I reserve the right to change my mind when we do the analysis. But from what I remember, Aelin was kind of done after Heir of Fire. Like, her development. It then became being queen, getting her people, like, and kind of coming into that. But, like, it was the most interesting parts about her as a character was done pretty quickly. From what I remember. And then it was about the story and everything. But then that's why we end up loving Manon, right? Because then her character growth ended up being the main thing. So character growth ends up getting us through and makes a book's interesting, right? If a character is essentially done, then you're relying on the plot. And the plot can be interesting, but then you kind of think about Wings and Ruin. The characters were all kind of done at that point, like Farah and Rhys. You just kind of had the plot going on at that point. Not that it's boring, but it's not people's favorite book oftentimes. And what would this story be like if Chaol wasn't keeping some of that alive?
Yeah, it's true. Somebody had to develop,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Chaol.
Maybe that's something that we need to remember as writers, where if we have our main characters, FMC, MMC, kind of like quote unquote done, make sure you have someone else developing in the background.
Absolutely.
Like Nesta and Cassian were happening in the background of Wings and Ruin.
Yep. It's a good point.
Just clocking it, saving that info.
Right. Let's go to Antonia. Okay. He was threatened by an immortal being possessing his king. Granted, he didn't know at the time. But also, why are you mad at your girlfriend for assassinating people if you met her as an infamous assassin and then get even more mad finding out she never killed anyone? Make it make sense, Chaol, because it's not looking good, bud.
He's a complicated.
He's not complicated. He's a dumb 22-year-old boy.
What makes him complicated is the lack of complication. Chaol has honor, and he lives and dies by that honor. And his job is to serve the king. Yep. Everything about Selena made him question his honor. But what was Selena doing but the king's wishes, right? Yep. He's upset that she's assassinating people. Well, that's kind of what the king that he's supporting wants to do. And then he finds out that she's not assassinating people. Well, that's kind of the right thing to do, but it goes against
what the king wants.
What the king wants. So what does one do?
Yeah, he's just a very, very, very confused little boy.
I know. Sweet baby Chaol.
Even Aelin would pause to catch her breath. We'll be right back.
Amy, it is my time to shine because fall is in full swing.
All I want for fall are those big, soft sweaters that I can wear everywhere, but they are way too expensive.
Fortunately, Quince makes it easy to look polished, stay warmed, and save big without compromising on quality.
I love their elevated pieces that are just those go-to essentials for fall, including their 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. You can't get that anywhere else.
I got one of their cardigans last year. It was my favorite cardigan, and it's going to continue to be my favorite cardigan.
I have always wanted one of those giant wool coats, and I've never made the investment because they're so expensive, but I actually can get the quality that I'm looking for a decent price through Quince.
That's because by partnering directly with ethical top-tier factories and cutting out the middleman, Quince is able to deliver luxury quality pieces at half the price of similar brands. It's the kind of wardrobe upgrade that feels smart, stylish, and effortless.
I love my 100% cotton button-ups that I've got for this summer. They're a perfect transition piece for summer to fall. Keep it classy and cozy this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince.
Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/booktalk. One of the things I really wish is that as a kid, I was taught healthy money habits. And luckily with Acorns Early, you can teach your kids those healthy habits.
Acorns Early is the smart debit card and money app that grows kids' money skills as they grow up. Start with the In-Chore Apps tracker and teach your kids the value of $1. Also, the satisfaction of crossing off a chore.
Then you let your kids start their own savings goals, the amount of toys I would have bought myself as a child if I had this.
Kids can spend what they've earned with their own customizable debit card, giving them that extra sense of independence.
I think giving kids that level of independence is so important.
I completely agree. Because if they don't learn it now, they're going to have to learn it with higher stakes later in life, which my parents didn't do with me. Plus, with Acorns Early's spending limits and real-time spend notifications, parents always stay in control.
This is honestly one of the most genius apps, and I can't wait to be able to use it with my kids.
I wish I had kids just so I could use this.
You're going to make sure my kids are going to use this.
That's right. Ready to teach your kids the smart way to earn, save, and spend?
Get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/booktalk or download the Acorns Early app.
That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK.
Acorns Early Card is issued by Community Federal Savings Bank. Member FDIC. Pursuant to license by MasterCard International. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at acornsearly.com/early terms.
For a limited time at McDonald's, get a Big Mac Extra Value Meal for $8. That means 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, and medium fries, and a drink. We may need to change that jingle.
Prices and participation may vary.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Now going through Instagram notes.
Yes.
Bash Chaol. Sorry, he sees what he wants to see in Selena, not who she actually is.
Yeah, that is true. Someone said the most realistic character in Throne of Glass. Yeah, because he's also the only human one. Yeah, I actually like the fact that he is human, therefore he's human. He acts human.
Yep.
He makes mistakes like a human. I appreciate that.
I do too. Defend. His character arc was great. Adian, however...
Adian. He also makes mistakes. I like Adian. He's our next Bash. Defend.
I am going to need the internet to remind me because someone was like, he kicked Lysandra out in the cold. And I was like, excuse me?
That was Kingdom of Ash.
That's for later. Don't worry. He's fine until then.
He's basically the only non-magic man in it, so he acts that way. Good writing and arc, in my opinion, but as others say, Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows, I lose a lot of respect for him.
It's the not having power part. Like, he was raised to be someone to defend, to protect, and now he loses everything. He's lost all the power. Not only was Selena powerful enough to take care of herself, then he finds out that she's actually the queen, and she's politically way more powerful than him.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I can only imagine what it's like.
Yeah. And I think we don't really think about that enough. The fact he gives up his political power by giving up his title to go become captain of the guard. And then he loses his power as captain of the guard because of circumstances. But also his power as captain of the guard becomes moot and useless because Dorian is way more powerful.
Yep.
So basically, his entire worth is diminished to zero, maybe even below zero.
It's blown up in smoke by mid-second book.
Yeah.
And then it's super blown up and by the third book. You know what I mean? Like, Think of it that way, guys. Like, SJM developed him to be one certain way his entire identity, spends 2 books, arguably a book and a half, but essentially 2 solid books to then say, okay, now I'm going to take it all away from you.
Mm-hmm.
No one else has that.
Yeah.
In this story. No one has it taken away like that specific kind. Like, Aelin is up and down. Being locked up and in the mask and stuff, like, people might be like, she, was kidnapped or taken, and then she's in the mask, and that's traumatic. And it's like, it is, but that's also plot, not character development necessarily. Now she gets, she's older, wiser, more traumatized from that, but
still 19, by the way.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing though. Like, the plot happens to Aelin.
Yeah.
It's a thing. Not telling Selena her friend was in danger wasn't as bad as they made it out to be. Agreed.
I agree.
Unless it was your life. I would never forget that. Actually, I think I'd kill him. No.
See, but that's after 15 years of friendship, not 4 months.
Not 4 months. 4 months, I'd be like, that was a shame.
She's the only one who sat by me while I was sick. Oh,
Damn.
well.
That's unfortunate. Wait, what?
Mackenzie says, I never liked Chaol. I don't have reasons, just vibes.
I respect that.
I do too.
You know what? I'm not one to argue with vibes. And I get it, girl. Who was that?
Mackenzie.
God bless Mackenzie. That's amazing. J'adore Chaol. Tower of Dawn is one of SJM's best books. His redemption is amazing to read. Love the use of j'adore.
J'adore. I do too. Rachel says, he has so much self-pity, it's sickening. I mean, he is kind of frustrating at the beginning of Tower of Dawn because he does have a lot of self-pity, but that's part of the character growth, that he overcomes that.
Here's a question for you. Self-pity and self-hatred. They're not the same, but they're often linked to one another. What's worse to read? Like, what's harder to read?
Self-pity.
Why is that?
I think self-hatred is taught. I think that it's the product of comparison, and it's a mindset that you have to overcome. Personally, I feel self-pity is self-indulgent, and it is more of a victim mentality rather than being taught to hate yourself for your flaws.
It's I can't believe this happened to me. And people have the right to have self-pity, at points. Like, he's gone through some shit. But there is like a difference between I can't believe this happened to me versus everything sucks. I deserve to have this happen to me.
Yeah.
No one deserves to have it. You don't have it, deserve. I don't deserve it. No one. Good energy, good vibes, guys. But yeah, I think self-pity is harder for people to consume because if the character's busy having self-hatred, I think the reader is like, well, actually, I agree with you. You know what I mean? But like that self-pity, there's just something that makes it harder for people to empathize with.
I think it's a matter of perspective, right? The reader has greater perspective than the character that's choosing to have self-pity, right? The reader's capable of saying, it's not that hard. Buck up, Buttercup. Like, pick yourself up. The answer's on the other side of that hill, right? Rather than someone who's like ragging on themselves for the mistakes that they've made. I think we can all empathize with that.
So would you say that Aelin starts off with more self-pity or self-hatred in Heir of Fire?
Self-hatred.
Okay.
Wait.
And pity.
Let me think. Yeah, I mean, it's both.
Yeah, you're going to get both of those at the same time. But so where I was kind of going with that second question was Aelin has a lot of self-pity at the beginning of Heir of Fire. We haven't started our analysis yet. I find it from over here. We'll see if I change my opinion. I find it hard to be on board with her self-pity because it's like you're in a complicated situation, but I'm really struggling from who the Aelin we got at the end of Crown of Midnight to the drunkard who can't who's so obsessed. Like, there's such a disconnect for me.
So I think in Aylin's case, and what I see or what I remember seeing throughout Air of Fire is that she does devolve into self-pity because of circumstances, and she hasn't found out a solution. And once you take away the self-pity and she has like something to work towards, then you uncover the self-hatred.
Mm-hmm.
The self-pity is an easy excuse, and it's easier for her to focus on than acknowledging and accepting her self-hatred.
Yeah. Chaol have it worse when he has self-pity.
Maybe.
Like, he's paralyzed.
Yeah.
He's lost all of his friends.
Mm-hmm.
He sees no hope in his future. He's being shipped off.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not saying that Selena Aylin did not go through a shit time at the end of Crown of Midnight, but like, isn't Chaol's self-pity more warranted?
Yeah. That's fair. Good question.
Thank you. Irene deserved better than Chaol. No hate, though. Love you guys. Can't wait for Silver Flame season.
I think he's the most like real life that we see in the series, and that's why people either love or hate him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a fair point. To what extent is he a self-reflection?
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I mean, I'm excited to let my future brain think about it more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to Disneyland tomorrow, guys, so I'm just kind of like, ooh, I need a pack.
Sierra says, he doesn't understand that a knife to the throat and you will always be my enemy is a breakup. That's fair.
I don't hear the words, we should break up. And there's still a chance. This is from Ajax. Chaol is the perfect example of those who fear the oppression they invoke on others. Great. Yeah, I mean, Chaol's not perfect, right? Chaol was raised in privilege of being the superior humans, the ones in charge, right? The superior species. Magic is outlawed. They've kicked out the Fae. He is privileged. He is wealthy. He has no reason to have critical thoughts.
Yeah.
And is afraid of things that aren't for him.
Yeah. Haley says he occupies the same space as Sokka from Avatar in my head. He had to grow up to be likable.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point.
You know what, though? I am happy people are this complicated and, like, they're so confused on whether to like him or hate him, and it's a male character.
Yeah, and not a female character.
Yeah. Although I wonder how much it would be completely dismissed. Here's a question for you. How similar are Chaol and Nesta? And how is it that people are more and if they are similar, are people more unforgiving towards Nesta than they are to Chaol? Because one thing I've done with this series, like in this season, in the last couple seasons, there aren't as many Chaol haters as I felt like there would be.
Yeah, same.
Now, maybe that's just our audience and, you know, we have a level of smart audience that can understand nuance and stuff, but it feels like I see so much more hatred for Nesta. And as we're chit-chatting about this, I'm like, you know, there's quite a bit like self-hatred, self-pity. They're in a position that they didn't ask to be in.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of parallel.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels. There are a lot of differences, but there are a lot of parallels. And because he's a guy, are people more forgiving with his journey?
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's a question I have no answer to.
You know, I wonder if part of it is not only is he male, but he remains human, right? A Court of Thorns and Roses doesn't really have any more human characters left.
Yeah.
So to what extent is there less grace? Because we're not dealing with humans anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and Chaol also has to no, I don't remember there ever being a moment of him realizing that he's going to die and all of his friends are going to keep living. Like, I don't see the moment of him realizing at one point he's going to age and they're all going to look the same.
I think I can't remember.
I can't remember. And if it is a moment, like if he does think that, then is it just a moment? Like that feels heavy. You know what I mean? And at that point, it's like, do you want to still keep being friends with everyone? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd still be your friend.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you're talking to Chaol.
No, you.
Okay. Even if I age or you age?
Either way.
Good. I would still be your friend too.
There we go. Wow, that took you a while.
I did that on purpose.
For that, we both live forever now to torture one another.
I did tell him, I was like, so Jack told me you told her something. She's like, I figured she would. I was like, she didn't tell me what you told her, but she wants to torture me with the fact that you told her something.
I told her that I would probably tell you that I knew something. It just was like the fact that I waited over 24 hours is a miracle.
It's so true.
My mom knows what it is. My therapist knows what it is.
Oh my
and
God.
I'm going to know what it is.
You can't tell Nicole or Randall, though.
No.
That's so funny.
No. I mean, I wasn't going to, but no, my mom, my therapist, and the guy knows.
Not perfect, but that's the point. The story needs a human barometer. Yes, he benefits from the system. He doesn't start off as a revolutionary thinker, but he grows.
I think we need to have room for people to grow.
And to not be perfect.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think it's fair to have room for people to be like, hey, you were raised in privilege. You were never asked to critically think. And on some level, I absolutely agree of like people should kind of come to their own conclusions and, develop empathy on their own. But he was built in a system that
benefited
him, that trained him to think that this was right. And if we can't allow grace and give people the space to come out of it, like the amount of, and I'm not saying this to you specifically, I'm actually thinking about other people in our lives, but the people who've had a fair amount of religious trauma and were entirely different people, and they have entirely different views than who they were when they were in their church.
Yep.
And like, and if we cannot hold them accountable for the way that they were, I don't want to say we can't hold them accountable. We just have to have grace for change. And Chaol is given opportunity to change.
Right. And you have to give people the space to not only acknowledge that maybe they were wrong because they knew no better, but also for them to figure out the way that they can make amends in a way that feels right for them, if that makes sense. Like, you can't.
They need to be able to make amends that's right to them.
Right.
Because it's going to be different for every person.
Right.
Depending on what your crime was, like your level of privilege crime. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's going to be different for every person.
Yeah. This listener said something similar. He's human, he was scared, he was abused, and he changed when it mattered, and that's hard.
Isabel says the way he treated Aelin in Queen of Shadow is so fucking annoying. He needs to get off his high horse. I can't wait to remember what that is. I was ready to let the witches kill him in Queen of Shadow, but then he ended up being my favorite. Okay, I'm really excited for Queen of Shadow. He's a man-child in Queen of Shadow, but I don't think he deserves a level of hate. What is going on with Queen of Shadow?
I don't remember. All I remember about Queen of Shadow was like, female friendship. I love this. That's what I remember about Queen of Shadow.
Female friendship. That's your female friendship call.
Yeah. Oh, his core storyline is the exact same as Manon's, but people aren't willing to hear that.
Wow. Break my brain, why don't you?
They were both brought up a certain way. Taught to believe something.
Isolated.
Forced to do things they didn't agree with. I think people give Manon more grace because she broke away faster.
Yeah.
There was always rebellion in her where Chaol did not have that.
It's more disappointing because we want Chaol to do better. And I think that's either A, triggers people because they don't do better, or B, they do better. And then you're kind of forced to have sympathy for people who don't. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's easy to have a character who does better. That's the thing. Like, if you're going to write something, look at Manon. Someone who comes to the realization, who realizes that they need to do better, who grows and stands up for what is right, that's easy.
Yeah.
That is a very easy thing to write. It's easy to get on board with. It's easy to come around to. But SJM didn't do that with Chaol. She made him get dragged through the mud. And the amount of people who do respect him, even if they don't love him, but might respect him by the end of Kingdom of Ash, that's impressive because she took her time. And taking your time with a character like that is so much harder.
Yeah. I'm sure she was super frustrated with him as a writer.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure she didn't know what half the shit that he was doing.
Yeah. She's like, fucking bitch.
Yeah. Get your shit together.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
Thank you for listening to this mini episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform.
We would love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. You can submit your comments to our forum at booktalkforbooktalk.com, or if you'd like to respond to any prompts like the ones we discussed today, please be sure to follow us on Instagram, where we ask for listener submissions.
If you're enjoying the podcast, please visit our website, booktalkforbooktalk.com, to view our latest merch and learn about supporting the show through Patreon or Venmo. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk.
Bye.
Amy, it is my time to shine because fall is in full swing.
All I want for fall are those big, soft sweaters that I can wear everywhere, but they are way too expensive.
Fortunately, Quince makes it easy to look polished, stay warmed, and save big without compromising on quality.
I love their elevated pieces that are just those go-to essentials for fall, including their 100% Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. You can't get that anywhere else.
I got one of their cardigans last year. It was my favorite cardigan, and it's going to continue to be my favorite cardigan.
I have always wanted one of those giant wool coats, and I've never made the investment because they're so expensive, but I actually can get the quality that I'm looking for a decent price through Quince.
That's because by partnering directly with ethical, top-tier factories and cutting out the middleman, Quince is able to deliver luxury quality pieces at half the price of similar brands. It's the kind of wardrobe upgrade that feels smart, stylish, and effortless.
I love my 100% cotton button-ups that I've got for this summer. They're a perfect transition piece for summer to fall. Keep it classy and cozy this fall with long-lasting staples from Quince.
Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
That's QUINCE.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK to get free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/booktalk. One of the things I really wish is that as a kid, I was taught healthy money habits. And luckily with Acorns Early, you can teach your kids those healthy habits.
Acorns Early is the smart debit card and money app that grows kids' money skills as they grow up. Start with the In-Chore Apps tracker and teach your kids the value of $1. Also, the satisfaction of crossing off a chore.
Then you let your kids start their own savings goals, the amount of toys I would have bought myself as a child if I had this.
Kids can spend what they've earned with their own customizable debit card, giving them that extra sense of independence.
I think giving kids that level of independence is so important.
I completely agree. Because if they don't learn it now, they're going to have to learn it with higher stakes later in life, which my parents didn't do with me. Plus, with Acorns Early's spending limits and real-time spend notifications, parents always stay in control.
This is honestly one of the most genius apps, and I can't wait to be able to use it with my kids.
I wish I had kids just so I could use this.
You're going to make sure my kids are going to use this.
That's right. Ready to teach your kids the smart way to earn, save, and spend?
Get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/booktalk or download the Acorns Early app.
That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK.
Acorns Early Card is issued by Community Federal Savings Bank. Member FDIC. Pursuant to license by MasterCard International. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at acornsearly.com/early terms.